and then his successor will have to implement the next 50%. So,
and so now, explain how this works. As more cardinals die, and more cardinals get in to vote for the next pope and policies. I mean, so this looks like the globalist takeover of the Catholic Church is intensifying, getting stronger.
First of all, this guy is born in 1955, Alex, so we're going to have to stand with this guy for a very long time. And in this long time, of course, the church will be further destroyed, but at the same time, he will follow up in the encyclica Fratelli Tutti, in unifying all the Christian churches, and later on, of course, Muslim, Jews, in this whole kumbaya situation in which he will step down of his role as Pope will be kind of minimized. He will incentivize the role of Bishop of Rome. He is somebody who, of course, has a lot of preparation for his role. His father was a veteran in the U.S. Navy, and he is of French and Italian descent. He has been for a long time working, like I said, especially with South America. And we know what
Leo, hold on. We got to go to break. And I already knew you had your new book out because I had to be out one day last week as a court step, but I watched it later, did a great job. I want to hear about your new book. I want to talk to Catholics in the fourth hour. Could you come on with me in the fourth hour and take calls from Catholics?
Sure. I mean, this is not a challenge towards your faith. I mean, your faith is your faith.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying you called Pope Francis years before it happened. So, I mean, you're the most accurate. So, yeah. I've got to go to break, but could you come on at like 2:15 Central so we could take some calls? And then you could respond to the Catholics because you obviously know, like they do, a lot more than I do.
Absolutely. I mean, and like you said, my new book also explains why the Luciferian court made up of Illuminati, Freemason think tanks from the Bilderberg.
Hold on, stay there. I got to go to break. Do 5 more minutes with us. And Steve Kirsch is coming on to respond to all this Bill Gates stuff and some new shocking studies confirming the mass deaths from the shots. But stay right there. Well, we got a new pope, American pope, and Leo Zagami, who has called what's going on in the Vatican for decades, unlike anybody else out there, best-selling author, is saying this guy's worse. Tell us some about your book. I want to have you back about that in the future. You'll be on the fourth hour taking calls from Catholics, not just in the U.S., but around the world to get their take and your response, Leo Zagami. But just in a nutshell, why are you saying this guy is worse?
Because in the year 2000, when Prevost was the provincial superior in Chicago, he protected a pedophile, Father James Ray, an Augustinian priest. He actually protected him, and this guy had credible accusations from 1991. And although the priory was close to a Catholic elementary school, Prevost did nothing to notify the school administration of the whole thing. This guy is a protector of pedophiles. He's the worst kind of guy we could elect as Pope. And as I explained in my latest book, the Jesuits and Pope Francis worked for months to prepare this new woke Pope. And in fact, the ring of Pope Francis was actually destroyed, contrary to tradition, not after the death of Pope Francis, but only 2 days ago, because they continued to use it as a seal on documents up to 2 days ago. So God knows what these people have done with documents that will, of course, surface later on. And this guy who protects the pedophiles, who is somebody already immersed in controversy from a very controversial convent in Chicago, suddenly becomes Pope, and of course very close to Obama, the Democrats, very much opposed to Donald J. Trump. Trump is being diplomatic, of course. This is a head of state, first of all, being elected, before being the head of the religion of billions of Catholics. Catholics. So he has to be diplomatic. But things are going to be very different in a few weeks from now, or actually probably starting soon after his first Wednesday speeches, when he's going to start talking about immigration and his stand of immigration, which is, of course, a stand of immigration that is completely contrary to what Tom Homan or Trump stands for. So let's see what happens. And in the meantime, of course, with my new book, volume 12, which is the last installment of my confessions, because I wanted to bring you right up there where the pyramid culminates in the all-seeing eye, to bring you where the Jesuit general is, where the real power is. And of course, this power is the power that has decided ultimately that they wanted to put an American pope because they want to challenge Trump directly. They could have, of course, chosen an African or an Asian pope, which is probably the future of the church. But in this case, the priority for this woke church seems to be fighting Trump and his administration. So Pope Francis, of course, had always very much good things to say about Prevost. He put him as titular bishop of Sufar. He received his episcopal consecration during the time Pope Francis was a pope. And on July 13, 2019, Prevost was also appointed a member of the Congregation for the Clergy in Rome, so in a way preparing him also for his role.
All right, Leo, stay. We're going to talk to you in an hour. We're going to take calls from Catholics then. But the big issue here is the leadership of the Catholic Church directing the Democratic Party to target traditional Catholics and conservatives in America. That tells you everything you have to know. The good news is isn't this just waking up Catholics more than ever?
Well, it's going to wake up those people who still had the illusion that we could go back to a conservative pope, to somebody like J.D. Vance wanted, or those who love the traditional Latin Mass. It's never going to happen. Unfortunately, we are going further into wokeness with this new pope.
It's amazing. Wow. Leo Zagami, we'll talk to you coming up in an hour. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of items exclusive to realalexjones.com that are not available at our main store, thealexjonestore.com. Bigger discounts as well. 10% off with promo code BLUE for a limited time at checkout at realalexjones.com on Ultra Methylene Blue, hands down the strongest, the best. You've heard about it, experience it. It's not all equal. Ours is light years better than everybody else. We just got the best source. I was already taking Methylene Blue, had some good effects, but nothing like this. It is wild, and it funds the operation. And then Nitric Boost, hands down the best formula for cleaning out your blood, your cardiovascular system, creating nitric oxide, minerally filled in the morning when you wake up. But that's a side effect. It is so good for you. It is so amazing. Nitric Boost, Ultra Methylene Blue, and so much more. 10% off on top of the already big discounts at realalexjones.com with promo code BLUE.